Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Joe Emilio Show. I'm your host, Joe Emilio, and with me is Amber Booysen, ladies and gentlemen. Amber, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself because you're a woman of many traits, if I can put it that way. So please tell the audience who and what you do.
My name is Amber Booysen, and as a girl guide from the age of 12, I committed myself towards South Africa. So there's an oath, and I always start whenever I do a talk show, whenever I go on live, or that I promise to do my best, to do my duty to God and to my country, to help other people at all times, to keep the guide law. So I'm the founder of an organization, which is a registered organization called Swartland Action Group. I'm an activist for over 24 years. The community is the first priority to me. I chose a temporary position as a politician so I can see where and how my part can play a role, that I can have a little more power in what I do. So I chose that route. So I'm a counselor for the free, I'm a PR counselor for the Freedom Front Plus. I support Cape independency 150% with the current circumstances that's happening in South Africa. I'm a mother of four daughters. I'm a grandmother of seven grandchildren. I was born and raised in the Swartland, full heart born Swartlander. They say when you speak English, you don't braai, but when you speak Afrikaans, you braai.
Nice. A beautiful introduction, and I couldn't have said it better myself. Amber, I saw you, and I actually played a clip of your speech at the recent Cape Independence March that happened on Freedom Day this past year. Very powerful speech, and I have linked the full speech in the description if people want to go watch it. But you really moved me. Like I've been a supporter, and it's not no secret on this channel that I've been a supporter of the Cape Independence movement. But some of the stuff you said in that speech really, I mean, I think it touched a lot of people that were listening, and I hope we'll try and convince some people now while they're listening why Cape Independence is a good idea. And I would like you to explain to people, because there's this fight against it, especially from the corporate media, that the Cape Independence movement is a white only movement. One of the things you said in your speech that it is actually not that. For those who may be on the fence about Cape Independence, what could you say to them to maybe sway or at least open their minds to the idea?
Quite a lot of things that I can mention. Firstly, the Western Cape belongs to the Capetonians. The Western Cape is governed currently by the DA, which is a political party. Nationally, it's run by the ANC. The Capetonians will suffer more under political structure. And that is a fact. Now, once you, as a colored, come to realize, I'm not going to use brown. Tonight I speak, and I always speak out of my heart because I'm speaking to my fellow Capetonians, to my fellow colored communities, especially in the Western Cape. We are the majority in the Western Cape. The Cape Exit is a movement that's managed by white, and it is not managed unfairly. Independency would be run like any other country's independency. People should go do their homework. They should not be influenced by politicians, because a politician will lose its political power once independency is set in the Western Cape. And that is the saddest part. In experience, the most people say, yeah, but it's white people. When are you, as a colored and a black and an Indian, whoever, we are a diverse, beautiful Cape, gonna come and join, get on board so we can be diverse in an independent Western Cape as well, and not as a province. Let the numbers grow by all race in the Western Cape, so it will not be only more whites. Now, why do white people choose a route for independency? They get cut out. And it's not fair. We as colored get cut out. We're not black enough. BEE plays a role. I can speak a lot of things, and then I would be named a racist. Once we speak the truth get turns and say you're a racist. And that part people should get out of their mind. We're talking the truth. We need to tell people why Cape independency is needed for the Western Cape. Not that the other provinces is going to believe in the dark. Remember, we have family members that lives in the Northern Cape. We have in the Northern and Gauteng, in the other provinces. We're concerned about them as well. The ANC is not governing our country as it should be. I'm not going to talk tonight about the corruption. That's one of the biggest concerns. We need to educate our children of what's happening in South Africa, because they are the future of South Africa. Where I come from, Malmesbury, Swartland. Whoever is listening and is not happy of what I'm going to say tonight, racist was so big. Racism is still so big in the Swartland. But we need to speak about it. We need to let all other races know that we as the Western Cape Townians need change. We need to create a brighter future from here on for our children, their children. What's going to happen to them? No political party will in 6 years fix the mess of what the ANC has done. We, the people, need to make that change. We're sitting in our comfort zones. We criticize. We sit and we put on Facebook, social media. Oh, it's not going to work. But did you go and do research? Did you question the people or countries that has been independent in how it should be run? Any person saying that independency is apartheid must go and read South African Constitution. It is important that we must educate our children, politics people. We need to tell our children what's happening in South Africa. So on the question that you just asked me, that's a few that I just gave you now, Joe. If you want to hear more, ask me more questions.
There's more questions coming in. I also want to remind people watching that they're allowed to ask questions in the live chats. Please, towards the end of the hour, I will get to some of the questions that keep popping in. I'm able to just mark them and keep an eye on them. Jade actually says here, Swartlander all the way. There's another Robert King saying another Swartlander here too. So there are some supporters of you watching, which is great to see. And we will talk about the Swartland group that you have and what you're doing there. But before we get into that, you spoke now a lot about the colored community, especially where you're from in Malmesbury and all those areas. I need you to maybe speak in a little bit more detail about why the colored community should get on board with Cape independence. I mean, yes, we would be independent from the ANC, and the ANC has not been fair. The ANC and the previous government of South Africa, apartheid government, was not fair on coloreds. So colored community and the colored people of South Africa have been I refer to them as the forgotten people, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just, it feels that way because you're either, like you just said, in apartheid, you were not white enough, and now you're not black enough. This community has been suffering for many, many, many years in South Africa. And I think one of the biggest hesitancies that the colored community have is, well, even if we gain independence, why should we trust it? Why should we put our faith in what could possibly be a new regime or a new government or a new whatever when we've been burnt twice already?
Yeah, Joe, you see, we put our trust in politics. We had to at the time. It is necessary even still now today. Coming from an apartheid era, the coloureds was and is still used to the treatment they get from government. There's no uplifting. It's giving the people the same level of what they think we deserve, not what we need. Look at the small matchbox houses they gave colored people in the Western Cape. Go see in Kailicha, it's 2-bedroom houses that was set up with geysers. It's time the colored people must come to the realization that the political party they choose was the party to take care of them. Forget about government, national level. National level, they do as they do, corruption. Let's come down to local government level. And that is DA. The Western Cape is run and controlled by the DA. You get your T-shirt when it comes to voting time. You get promised maybe a fridge. I spoke to people personally. Alcohol. We had strong colored leaders starting in when they come into the politics. We're going to do this for our people. We're going to do that for our people. I'm not going to mention names. You and the listeners know who they are. They were leaders. They came, the colored people we're going to do once they get your vote. Where are they? They in positions. And we as coloreds are still where we are. We got used to this kind of treatment and we think it should be. No coloreds of the Western Cape. You're coming from a white apartheid government that kept you there. Now you're in a black government that still keep you there. My message go out today to the coloreds of the Western Cape. Why should the white man fight for the colored? How come can't you stand up for yourself? I'm colored. I'm Khoi. I'm a brown woman. But if I am not going to start to make change of what damage that of what politics has done to our people, someone has to do it. I'm with Cape Exit. Beautiful white people. People that's got the finances to support independency. So I give my little support, and that is to do go and have open like branches, workshops, so the people can hear about what it is. No white man will take this country over, this Western Cape over. This would be for everyone in the Western Cape, not by color. I'm just speaking to the coloreds tonight because we're the majority in the Western Cape. And this is our Western Cape. My great-grandfather was born as a colored farmer in Paardeberg in 1875. Paardeberg is like 15 kilometers outside of Malmesbury. And in the 1960s, he had so much properties. He was chased off from his own land. How come do we still allow that politics is doing this to us? Now we're in a black government. Now we're talking BEE. You are not black enough to get that house even if you are first on the waiting list, my friend. The black man, the black woman And I have nothing against any race. It's time to speak the truth. I have half black children and half colored grandchildren. But the truth needs to be spoken. When you go for a job, it's BEE. You're not black enough to get the job. I believe the person who qualified for the position should get the position. Now we're going to fight. You will never lose the battle. You will never win this losing battle if you don't change your mindset in what is good for you, what is good for your grandchildren and their children. Let's take the Western Cape back. Van Riebeeck gave us this Western Cape. Go and ask your grandmother, grandparents, because our colored communities is not educated of where we come from. And that is the biggest problem in South Africa. They need to know how they got to the Western Cape. They need to know how it was built, how the Western Cape was created. Who are we? The ANC don't acknowledge our language. They want to take away our Afrikaans. And we're going to allow them? Coloreds of the Western Cape, even if you're living currently in Gauteng, and you ran away from the Western Cape because you couldn't get a job here, but you got one up there, you can come home. We need to let our children know that we are a special Western Cape of all the provinces, the most diverse in the Western Cape. So, Joe, tonight I hope on the 27th that I can pass a message that our coloureds must stand together. It is such... I'm so sorry, that was my cell phone. I was supposed
No
to
worries.
switch off. I'm very sorry.
No worries.
That's
All
fine.
good.
I've got that under control.
It's all good. If I could just also mention, like, I think what you say is also very important, and something that people of the Western Cape need to understand is that if Cape independence was to happen, the coloreds are the majority in the Western Cape. That's a fact. 51% or over 51% of the population in the Western Cape is colored, which would make them that community the majority in the Western Cape. And through a democracy, a real democracy, they would be able to finally have their say, have a voice. And I'm sure that in a new democracy, I'm not saying that, it's going to be now a completely controlled, colored government or anything like that, and the same atrocities are going to happen. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I think it's going to be a much more fair government because, as you've mentioned as well, even though the colored community is the majority, there is still a lot of different cultures, races, ethnic groups in the Western Cape. I firmly believe that if the Western Cape got independence, it would be the rainbow nation that was promised to us in 1994. The Western Cape has the possibility to bring that prophecy, if you will, or that notion or dream, what have you, to reality. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yes, I definitely agree with it. I said it.
Yeah.
I might not have said it in facts, but I say it as it is. I might not use terminology, but I say it as it is.
Yeah.
Joe, it is such a... It is the listeners and viewers has to understand that the DA is the controlled political party in the Western Cape. And Cape Exit has more supporters, DA supporters, on the registered list. We have up till 22, 24, 23 months for the next national elections. It is important that people should go vote. People should educate themselves from now until 2024 to decide who are they going to vote. Because we have political parties in place that supports independency. Cape Party, Freedom Front Plus. The DA is not on board. Why doesn't the DA support what is good for the Western Cape? Because the DA will lose its power as a political party. People, you need to know that for that reason and for that reason only, that is why the DA is not supporting independency. Because the DA had all the colored votes for many years, Joe. What did the DA do for me in my town? Is there a gap house currently in the Swartland in town? No. These small houses that they built will continue in rows and rows in areas where there's not schools, where there's not. But why not build gap houses in the town itself, the dorp? It must be. How come is there not one white person staying in a colored RDP house? Question. You as a colored should ask yourself that question tonight. 1, 2, maybe. It's only you as a colored that would stay in that small houses because they decide how big your earth should be. The Eastern Cape people, Joe, has huge land. What did this government give to our coloreds here in the Western Cape? What did they give to you and me? Nothing. Our forefathers had properties, land, and we got evicted in the apartheid years, our families from the lands. Why don't we stand up and say, this is our Western Cape? We had to take that little couple of negotiation money that the land reform was given to our people. But the land belonged to the colored. We're not going to get our land back. But here's so much land. Give us land. Give us what we deserve. People come from Eastern Cape people. They come get your RDP house. You're fighting for an RDP house. You should fight for your land. Coloreds of the Western Cape, stop fighting and arguing over the RDP house. Stand up and fight for your land. Make sure you choose the right political party next time.
Yes.
I don't have the right to tell you people should. Sorry, John.
No, go ahead.
I don't have the right to say who you should go vote for. But we need to vote at the moment. I believe strongly independency is definitely going to happen. If we have 1.6 million registered voters registering themselves up with Cape Exit, which is a non-political organization. It is managed by white people. I can also go on there and be a manager and manage but I decide not to. I decide to speak to you people. I decided to speak to you coloreds instead. I decided to bring you colored people on board. Look at Namibia. There's no crime. Gangsterism is taking over in your areas, people. Your colored areas. Our children get ripped by drug lords. We stay like that for years and for years. Nothing gets done by government or your political party about the situations. We're losing our children every weekend in the Cape Flats, in areas where gangsterism takes over. We are used to the treatment. Look, they put you... Joe, this is something that's actually that I would have today, the first time, an opportunity to speak.
Okay.
Rape in coloreds, under coloreds, is the highest statistics. Why, Joe? Politics. When they gave our people that small house, mother and father, there was one structure, had no privacy. What did the children see when mother and father was busy at night. I close, I open. Why didn't they build 2-bedroom houses? Was this a planned thing in order to get us there? Because when you're in that problem, you're in that problem. And it's growing like a field fire. And it ended up that our statistics show that the coloreds are the most rapists. Why? Could it be that could be one of the reasons? That the parents had no privacy in that small houses. We go to schools. The coloreds of the Western Cape don't get upgrading. They give us all the years the level of what they think we deserve. But your vote is important to them. Cape Exit is not a racist organization. Cape Exit is an organization that wants the Western Cape to be declared independent. Cape Exit is an organization that sees the suffering of the coloreds. And they're fighting more for you than you fighting for yourself. I am part of that group. Believe me or not, 1.6 million is what we need. We're going to go there. We're going to go there very quick. If we have you, my brother, listening, my sister, listening, doesn't matter what race you are. But I need more colored supporters. Namibia was once part of South Africa. 5th of February, 1994, I think it turned, or 6. Not 100% sure on that, but I know it's on my father's birthday. Namibia became independent. The Western Cape is special. People, we have Kaapse Klopse. People, we have Indian food stores. We have we have Zulu dancers. We have a diverse culture. We special. We speak a language that no one else speaks on the planet. We are so special, and we should actually celebrate our cultures. Set a date once a year. I believe God the Father, we need to make another prayer day. We need to pray for the Western Cape. Not that the other provinces is not people should not think that because we want to declare the Western Cape independent, we neglect them. I am a councillor. I've got an organization that do municipal complaints. I am supporting Cape Exit. You can do whatever you want to. You can support anything you want to. It doesn't make me more of a politician than when I am an activist. The mere fact is I want to make that change. So the one thing that I want to add onto this is that the people of the Western Cape have heard about Cape independency. Some of them not. It's very interesting, especially in our rural, poor areas. They don't know about it. And we're going to have workshops now so that our people can, we want to hear what influence does politics have on people's lives. Now, I'm so with joy in my heart that my political party supports independency. And people should really think who they vote for. I have no right to say who they have to vote for. It is important that you need to go do your homework, people, before the next elections. It is important that you go and Google, go and see how Singapore is an independent country. Go and see how it is done, how they do things there different. We the people will govern. We the people will control. I think people are not very educated on the level. I'm going to make a small example. Let's say I always use Swartland because it's a municipal area. Swartland is a municipal area. It's got a few towns. So people should know how independency works. The people govern, not the police commander. He's the police commander in charge. We're going to have our school in the Western Cape, but for the Swartland, we might have our own power station. It's what the people want. We want to have more schools. What the people want. Currently, what do we get? Where's our money, people? Taxpayers' money. Where's your money? It's okay for the ANC to take your money. Oh, but when a colleague in your workplace steal, everyone in your town knows about it. So love one another, support one another, ask questions about Cape independency, why we should go. The only people that will argue Cape independence is strong politicians that love for politics and not for the change. And that's a fact, Joe. So whoever tomorrow on Facebook, on social media will criticize what I'm saying, what I said was facts.
Yeah.
So I don't know the comments that's going to come in. Let it come in. But what I spoke was facts, and I didn't speak something that I don't know about.
Yeah.
I'm speaking of what's happening currently. We need change. We need change urgent.
Yeah.
So people need to go register themselves if they're interested at Cape Exit. You must be a registered voter. Go register yourself and make sure you also vote during the elections for the right party.
Yeah. No,
That
absolutely.
supports in the people.
Yeah. Um, I I agree with everything that you've said. I think there are some very strong words. I'm seeing some comments coming in saying that, you know, they love what you say and they're agreeing with you. And look, I think the people that, you know, try and label. It's always interesting to me that the race card is always used to try and shut people up who speak truth. And they're just Twitter trolls or social media trolls. But I think for the majority of people that will watch this and continue to share this, I think everybody will understand and see the positivity that you're speaking of. And I just want to switch over to your Swartland project, if I can call that. Please explain to the people who may not know about this, about what you're busy with in the Swartland. Please explain to them what it is exactly that you do.
Okay, my organization is called the Swartland Action Group. It's actually Afrikaans, the Swartland Actiegroep. I see that corruption in the nationally is there, but it does not affect some local areas directly. So politics affected the local part with on municipal levels. So in in 2018, I received a phone call from the community. I was staying at the time in Kraaifontein because I had a daughter who was that gone school in Kraaifontein. And I received a call saying that 100 Rand was being on the accounts and from on the municipal accounts. And I said, wait, let me go and assist these people and see what's happening. At the time, I've set up a letter of demand. We had a protest, and it was the first time in history that about 400 colored people of the Swartland was walking because it affected people very badly. And my organization I'm a local government councillor. So I have the municipalities today. I have to have the municipalities. Um, 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 I have to think about them because they on my one hand and the community on the other hand. So the community has a need, the municipality delivers. Now, as I've established this organization in 2018 already, not knowing that I was going to become a councillor with the um, um, last local elections. So at the time, it was very interesting. Bylaws, I had to look in and see the Swartland community, and especially the Coloureds, was suffering under these huge utility accounts. So I said to myself, wait, man, I mean, who is going to establish an organization that do municipal complaints? That's in every household. So me and my team was interviewed by ENC News regarding the Scotland Action Group. We don't do only municipal complaints. We get SASA complaints. We get SASA card holders, applications. Um, I've got the other business that I do as well, where I legally attend to tribunal matters. That's also a registered company that I have on the side. It's a PTY. It's not active actually, but 1, 2 cases comes in. So then I assist the community. Um, I do my council work. I do my Cape exit work. My hands are currently full, but I will serve. So it's my party, it's my municipality that I have to protect, it's my party, it's my organization, it's my little small business that I have, it's a Cape exit that I have on the other hand. But the most of all is I have the community in my heart. And with all these organizations, I want to see if I can't make change. And my team, it's a very, I don't have an NPO number yet. So I have now sponsors for my organization. So my team walks from house to house. If an electricity account is blocked, if a water pipe bursts and someone must pay, and we know how it goes in with electricity, especially now with ESCOM and what's happening in the country, and how high water accounts and how high um, electricity accounts is under the circumstances of load shedding. If your account is not paid, you get blocked. That's bylaws of the municipality. Unfortunately, we can't do anything about it. That's their bylaw. Who set it? It's there. It's politics that cause these things. In order to never be in your favor, Coloureds, you will always suffer nationally and local. We will suffer. So my team, I want to make actually use of this opportunity to thank each one of them, because they walk sometimes to town to sort out a municipal account, to assist a household. Um, our people suffer. You go into that household, they can't afford a loaf of bread. Poor communities, Joe. I've said it in my last speech. I've said that I actually swallow when I think about it. Uh, the ANC wants to close tuck shops now. Do they know what impact it would have in colored communities? There, people can buy still a packet of sugar in a see-through bag where it's measured out of a cup. People buy one egg loose. Coloreds. In some of our townships, it happens as well. But why must our people live like this? And our leaders is living in mansions. Our leaders is in control of our people's taxpayers' money in South Africa. How many shacks got rained, overflowed by water? People should stop voting for this parties that puts them in this position. It's heartbroken. It's sore that our people don't worry about their own circumstances. They don't worry about their children's future. Because this is where it's heading. If I'm not going to stand up as a colored from my colored community, so I want to be there, a Hindu, a black man, a black woman, a white woman, a Chinese woman, in following the same way of what I do. I just stand up for the coloureds more, going the route of independency. I say it out strongly more. I will bring the message to my people in the coloured communities more. But it needs to be done. We need to make a change, and we are that change. We the people. We can't trust no one no more. So, Joe, I hope, I hope, certainly we're standing on a figure of 823.24. We need 1.6 million. 100,000 we're standing currently 823.24,000. We need 1.6 registered voters to force off a referendum. We're not going to give the ANC. Uh, we're not going to give the ANC an opportunity here. We're going to force it off. We need to force it off. We need to do change. We need to take back our safety. We need to take back our schools. We need to take back our state's hospitals. It's falling apart. You can see in the corners how black it is. It hasn't been cleaned for 26 years. We need to take back everything that was in a good working condition. Politics is not going to solve this problem.
Yeah.
We need to solve this problem.
Yeah, it's very true. Like a lot of people still look at Cyril as like their father figure, and I always laugh at them, and I'm like, Cyril has done nothing good since his presidency, and before that, the ANC has done nothing good as well. They ended apartheid, and since then it's just been downhill from there. And we can see it over the past 28 years of them being in leadership. Load shedding alone has gotten worse since 2007. We're on stage 4 now, and stage 5 is being spoken about. Even stage 10 was mentioned a few months ago. I mean, that would be catastrophic if that was implemented. And going back to your point, the ANC wanting to take away tuck shops in certain areas of well, I guess nationally, would also devastate the small little economic hub that exists in townships and other areas of South Africa. I really don't know what would happen to those people. I mean, it's almost like the ANC wants to upset the people. The ANC wants them to get angry. The ANC wants these more protests, more violence, the July riots to happen 2.0. And yeah, I think another battle that maybe the FF Plus have, along with Cape Independence Party and other parties for that matter, is again people feeling distrust with politics. Because it's I've often spoken what you've said on the show tonight. I've told people, go vote, just go vote. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, just go vote. And a lot of the times people are saying, but who do we vote for? All the politicians lie. All the politicians are corrupt. Nobody, they don't care about us. They'd rather not vote. And I think that's a very tough topic to persuade someone to just, do your research and go vote. Because again, the ANC has managed to create such a distrust among the South African population that they don't just not trust the ANC, they don't trust anyone. And I don't know how that's going to be fixed.
Well, you see, we need to work very hard. We, the Freedom Front Plus, needs to work very hard for the next elections. Not that my role in Cape Independency to do more awareness would stop. It would be, I would squeeze it in. But people need to know that it is important to vote. Politics should start out of the house. Parents should educate their children. It is important, young people, to go register to vote. It can be around the dinner table. Father can take his son to a rugby match. But we need to educate our children. where we come from, and where are we going, because they are our future. So my my saying was the other day, if you vote for a party that is corrupt, then you are also corrupt.
That's a good point.
You're part of giving that people or that leaders or that thief, you gave him permission to go steal because you're voting for him. You can't say it in any other word. So whoever support political parties where who is corrupt, support that people is a thief, support the corruption. Period. My message goes out as well to South Africans, because some of my Capetonian people wants to stand for independence. They live there up there in the other provinces as well. But this is a message to South Africans. We all have until a few months before the next elections. Go read and go study a political party's manifesto first before you make decisions. With pride, I can say I'm with a party that support. My political party supports my language. It supports my Christianity. And that is important.
Yeah.
So people should really think twice before they make decisions, new voters, old voters, because your decision that day depends on us and what's going to happen in the next future. How our country is going to be controlled. How more should we suffer? It is in our hands. Just because you feel strongly towards politics, you make bad political decisions in your voting, we suffer. We all suffer.
Yeah. That's
so,
very
Joe,
true.
that's my message.
No, it's a good message, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. If you vote for a corrupt party, then you are also basically part of the problem, and I couldn't agree more with that. I also want to just, in our final few minutes, just go to some of the questions that have been coming in from some of the people. If there are any further questions, keep them coming in. I think we have time for 2 or 3. But this one's coming in from Voot, who says, wants to know your thoughts on Patricia de Lille.
She reminds me of myself. Because when she started off, she promised the colours of the Western Cape. She was in my position. She had a good position. But she failed us. And now she want to bounce back. It's too late, my sister. I am still in the position to bounce.
Okay.
I was told that I have a very strong, I was told by people that that you have a lot of Patricia de Lille in you. You have the ability to speak to people, and you get through to people. That is what she had. But she used it at that time, maybe for a position, because that's what it is clearly. But she's bouncing back, but for what reasons?
Yeah.
Ek is omkoopbaar, Joe. Ek is omkoopbaar.
I gotta be honest, I don't trust her. Like, I don't know. There's like a lot of, as you know, in her career, there's been a lot of controversy as well. The fact that she's with the ANC also doesn't sit with me very well. And, Good Party, I don't feel has done much for the people. Yeah, I don't, and there's people in that party that I also don't trust. So yeah, but then again, that's politics. There's a lot of people I don't trust in politics. But but moving on to another question from Voot. He wanted to ask you, will Cape Independence improve the gang violence situation? I think that's a very interesting question.
Of course it will. The people can go for a court order against that gangster. He can be removed out of the town. Independency put you as the people in control and not the police or a justice system that protects that person.
So I also think that maybe like with Cape independence and once Western Cape becomes its own country, the first thing that the people will want and possibly the next government or people in power will make sure that corruption no longer exists. I think there might be a very big clamp down on gangsterism and drugs and all the nasty things that happen in the Cape Flats, in the colored community, and in the entirety of Western Cape. I think, like you said earlier, even if you get Western Cape independence tomorrow, it's going to take time to fix the damage that the ANC and somewhat a bit of the DA have done to the Western Cape. But it can be rebuilt. It's not too late yet, and I think that would be probably a first priority for whoever is next in line to control the Western Cape, is just to get rid of the gangsterism, especially.
That's a headache at the moment. The Swartland is also suffering a lot. It's young people. It's not.
Yeah,
But like I say again, it's what was done over the years, and
yeah.
the brother see from the brother, and the sister see from the brother, and there's no changes. There won't be changes if we need to be uplifted, not stay on the same
Mm,
level. Um, that is, you know, like rehabilitation centrums. We don't have it in the Western Cape. Why not? Is this a political thing that the coloureds must stay in the circumstances? Because I question myself a lot, Joe. Why hasn't there been any improvement? Why is it that there isn't any court orders to remove these people? It doesn't have to be through independency to do it. Because that's my strategy now in fixing circumstances in the Western Cape. I'm sorry, in the Swartland. I've spoken already to a magistrate. It can be done. If we, the people, want that person out of our community, he can be removed by a court order out of town or out of your area. So I hope my question to the friend who asked this question, I can't recall now the name. It's your community activist or your politician in that area, or your councillor that assists there, that can stand up. A person for that, you don't need Cape independency.
mm.
You can force gangsterism. They just don't do it.
Yeah, I think they don't do it because there's corruption. They get paid off. They're scared of their lives. There's killings. It's a very complex issue. It's not something that you're gonna wave a wand and then it's gonna disappear. I think it's a very layered and complex situation and issue. But hopefully, if Western Cape gets independence, it will be eradicated. Drickus also has a question. I'll leave this as the last question. Does Amber liaise with other leaders across Western Cape to build her network and support her cause for independence?
Yes, we do. Oh, yes, we certainly do. We even speak to political, like Amber myself. I speak to political parties about it. I send invites. I've sent. Um, you, you sometimes have to be careful. Um, in my experience, I do this on social media. I will send it to groups. I will say, listen, I have a workshop. I'll invite you. It's up to you. So we're going to do it more because there's nothing. First was my Cape Town people, my Cape colored people needed attention at this very moment. So from now on, so what we do is we're going to do it more. We have like 3 workshops now coming up in our Darling area, in our Riebeek area, Moerisburg. From there, we're going to go Paternoster. So we do send out to our community, to our other community leaders, to groups, to organizations. We do send it out, and it is impressive that how the for they were some of them were mostly politicians actually asking these questions, and it is very interesting that they are interested in it, and it is amazing to see that you had this politician for 30 years that's standing now right beside me, um, going to the movement for independency, and is not shy to attend the workshop, because shyness is not going to count here. Um, if you have to put your head in uh, wherever, you will walk out at the other side, but you have to go with your head in first.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
yeah, we do, and we're still gonna do more.
Awesome. I wish you the best of luck with that. I hope it goes really well and keep on spreading the message. In closing, Amber, is there anything you would like to leave our audience? Just a quick message. And I also want people to know that I have linked your group, the Swartland group, in the description below, the Facebook group, so they can go check it out and, join it. But yeah, Amber, is there anything you want to say in closing?
Now, I want to give a message out to all the Cape Exeter registered um, Cape Exeteers. It's 823,000. If each one of you register a friend, a family member, a brother, a sister, neighbor, that figures is double. I want to send a second message out to young people in the Western Cape. When you're 18, 16, you can already register to vote. But you won't be able to vote. Go register yourself at the IEC so you can vote, because this country belongs to you. You're our next generation. We need leaders out of youth. And we need good leaders. From my organization side, I want to say that anyone can follow us on the organization is registered on Facebook as the Swartland Action Group, Swartland Actie Group. If you want to get involved, if you want to sponsor anything towards the activists that's unemployed, that works, any sponsors is welcome. You can make contact with me on the group. And then I want to send the last message out to all Cape Townians. Me speaking so honest and so sincere doesn't count you out. Whoever lives in whatever province. Me speaking so directly to the coloureds was just the message I want to bring to the coloured people. Don't feel offended, maybe, because my message tonight was to speak to the coloureds. Because we're the majority in the Western Cape. And if you want to go do a research, I'm going to bring up a small town that's called Easteris in Pretoria. And I've spoken to gangsters there that's today beautiful young men that got out of the gangsterism. A community project was given to them where they have these three-wheel taxis. And I was driving in it at the time when I was in Easteris. Beautiful coloured community. People braai on the pavements every weekend. Gangsterism is out in Easteris. Go do yourself a favor and research Easteris gangsterism that happened there, people. So I will stand for what I believe in. Don't punish me because I speak the truth. Support me in what I'm doing. Don't let anyone confuse you in your decisions. If you want to know more about something, go and do your right research. Ask the right people the right questions. Do not be manipulated and fooled by politicians that wants to have the control into running this country. That's my message, Joe. And my message especially goes out to all Cape Exit supporters that stands in the cold, in the sun, in the wind to have managed to get that 820,000 odd registered. People, go vote. The upcoming national elections. It is important to vote for the right party because our future depends on it. Don't vote because you're used to voting. Vote for the right reasons. Thank you, Joe, for having me on the show.
Well, thank you, Amber Boyson, for giving me an hour of your time. It was a very riveting, interesting, and informative discussion. And I agree with everything you said. And I wish you the best of luck, not just in your position in the Freedom Front Plus, but also with what you're doing with the Swartland and everything else that you've got going for you, your small business, everything else. I wish you the best of luck. Keep fighting the good fight, and I'll have you back on the show, I'm sure, pretty soon. We'll get updates, and as we get closer to the next national elections, I'd love to hear what you are up to, what the Freedom Front Plus is up to, and yeah, we'll hear more, hopefully, about the Cape Independence Movement. So, Amber, once again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Joe. It's a pleasure being on your show.
Thank you.